FedEx full, we commanding the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. K-Dot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, or shit is shit. K-Dot.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC Sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is K-Dot. We got some breaking news. Adam Peters and the Washington Commanders have made a trade for cornerback Marshon Lattimore, who is a legit CB1. So this is one hell of a trade to make on trade deadline day in the NFL. We're going to go ahead and show you the details of that trade just now. And so once again, it's going to be Marshon Lattimore and a 2025 fifth round pick coming to the Washington Commanders in exchange for a 2025 third round pick, a 2025 fourth round pick, and a 2025 sixth round pick. More details on the third round pick. It is actually our third round pick, not the Miami Dolphins one, which is much higher right now. So we get to keep that one, which is excellent. And then the sixth round pick, we're just giving it right back from the John Ridgeway trade that happened this offseason. So K-Dot, I'm going to throw it over to you before we get into contract, personnel, etc. What did you make of this deal?
Necessary. Good. Well, I'm not going to say necessary. Good. I was feeling good. I feel good about it. Like what it does as far as the defense itself and like knowing where it is that we're at. Well, last episode we said we're 7-2. The entire situation has kind of changed for us, in at least in my opinion.
Yes.
The idea of what you have when you bring in a surefire starter CB1, in the sense of you get Benjamin St. Juste not having to travel or cover a number one receiver anymore. He goes back. Mike Sainristil gets to play his position that he's best at, with now even more knowledge and know-how than he was playing on the outside. Like this, to me, just helps the entire defense out. Not to mention, if we're looking at Marshon Lattimore and where he's been in New Orleans, especially over the last few years, and just being, Lord knows it's probably hard to show up for work, to go with the best goddamn defensive back coaches in the NFL to try to help. It's just, to me, it all kind of works out. And then from a standpoint of like what it is we had to give up, knowing the moves that we made beforehand and jockeying as far as draft position, things like that, like Jahan Dotson, the compensation we got from that, the John Ridgeway, the compensation we got from that. If you look at like getting rid of those players as well as the other draft compensation for a guy like Marshon Lattimore, which is the way I look at it holistically, I'm like, absolutely, I make that fucking deal. And I also make that fucking deal knowing that the Saints have already paid off all the guaranteed money in his contract. So if he ends up, if this thing is completely horseshit, like it goes terribly bad, you're not committed to it. So like it's that is a situation where it's like maximum flexibility. You get a good guy that comes here, you help out the defense. It's a slam dunk.
Discussing those numbers, 2024, so the rest of the season, he's owed $605,000. That's the guaranteed money. And then that's it. The rest is non-guaranteed. $18 million in 2025, $18.5 million in 2026. So those are, I mean, decent cap numbers, but it's non-guaranteed. So we can see how this goes. And if it doesn't, no harm, no foul. We still have 7 picks remaining in the NFL draft. They're good ones. So it's worth the rental. And then what it signals, right? So Adam Peters has talked about supplementing through free agency and building through the draft. He's trading for a 4-time Pro Bowler over here. He was a Pro Bowler in 2017, and then 2019, 2020, 2021. So that signal of intent, and the 2017 Defensive Rookie of the Year, of course. Thank you, K-Dot. Now, that signal of intent of, hey, we know what we have here. We're 7-2. Our rookie quarterback is exceeding expectations. How high is our ceiling? I don't know, but let's raise it and see what we can do. Then, K-Dot mentioned Benjamin St. Juste moves to the second corner spot. Mike Sainristil goes back into the slot as originally intended. You now have players in their comfort zones. So you've gone from Benjamin St. Juste having to do more than what he was originally expected to do. Same thing with Mike Sainristil too. Why don't you guys go back into your comfort zones in your regular positions? We got a CB1 now. We can take care of that. And so now what this does for the defense is very, very exciting to think about. The only concern, I think it's important we mention this as well, injuries. So K-Dot, if you throw the Marshon Lattimore graphic up one more time, you'll notice he played a ton of games, 2017 through 2021, and then 2022, he played 7 games. 2023, he played 10 games. 2024, he's played, is that just 1 game? Is that right? No, I think it's 7 games is what I have. But he's been playing
Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia. There you go. I just went to Pro Football Reference for that one. He's played 7 games so far this season, and he has looked good so far. The advanced stats on Marshon Lattimore, when targeted, 12 of 22. That's a 54.5 completion percentage, 69.1 passer rating allowed. That's great. And then 0 touchdowns allowed. He's gone against Mike Evans. He's gone against Devontae Smith, and he's gone against Drake London of note. So this is an exciting move, K-Dot. Do you anticipate this elevating the defense considerably, just a little bit? What do you think?
I mean, I got to see it kind of work out. Like at the end of the day, I think it does improve it pretty significantly. I still look as far as maybe some guys get healthy as far as what happens with the pass rush, but to know that you have a dude that's going to be able, that you don't have to worry about a particular side of the field for majority of a game is extremely crucial for any team. So like, of course it elevates the defense as a whole, but to what degree is just depending on like when we get to see, I don't know. I'm trying to temper expectations, but I don't know. Like if you asked me last week, I was like, yeah, you do that. That's fucking, it's it. And now that it's here, I'm like, huh. But also my brain is fucking scrambled because it's election day.
No,
so,
of course.
Yeah, I think, look, adding if he's healthy and he stays healthy, this is a big deal.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think this raises that ceiling on defense considerably. Once again, with players now going in their comfort zones, you can increase the number of coverage sacks, for example. There's a lot more you can do defensively. And based on everything we're hearing about his personality, work ethic, etc., sounds like that play like a commander mindset. Sounds like he's got that. So that is very exciting from a culture standpoint. And again, what it signals to the rest of the locker room, hey, we're going for it this year. We acknowledge the window this year. And that's why all Commanders fans should be very, very excited about this move. He's got to stay healthy, but it could be one of those things. Once you're on a good team, your health just goes up a little bit. Things get better. Go ahead, K-Dot.
And I think that's what I was actually just looking at, was like where it is their defense has been the last few years. And like, would that have any sort of bearing on like whether or not you'd really force yourself to try to come back if you really don't think you have? But I don't think that that's necessarily the case here. It's just he's had a string of bad luck, but yeah, and once again, at the end of the day, if he's somebody that can't stay healthy, then you look at it, all things equal, you can move away from this. Also, just knowing that there's not a whole lot of guaranteed money wrapped up in it, doesn't really matter. Like, as long as when he is healthy and he gets to be on the field, we got a stud. If he's not healthy, we go back to what it is that we've had defensively, which has led us to a 7-2 record. So,
yeah, no, that's fair. Any final thoughts? Any other trades you're anticipating?
No. I actually think because of just the amount of draft picks that are kind of moved around just now, this might be enough for Adam Peters to like back away from the table. But knowing that, like, I know that we've been shopping Forbes, I know that there's going to have to be a roster move in order to make space for him coming here on the team. So whether or not that means that I think that they're going to do everything they possibly can do not to cut a guy like Forbes. But I'd expect movement on that front at some point by the end of the day.
I would too, to be honest. Yeah.
As far as anybody else to really add to it, like I heard a little link as far as like Mike Williams, but now he's going to Pittsburgh, and I don't know if Zadarius Smith was another guy that I think was kind of linked to us a little bit. He's been moved as well. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to make another trade for another cornerback. So I don't think anything that I'm necessarily anticipating, but I wouldn't necessarily be shocked if you saw some like mid-level guy or something come in or come out, or at least some draft compensation and somebody on our end going out.
Yeah, no, that's a very fair assessment. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's just an Emmanuel Forbes transaction. Whatever that may be is my guess. Oh, he did not play at all last week. He played 6 snaps the week before that. We root for him on the pod, but I mean, we'll see if he ends up getting traded. If he ends up getting released, we'll see what Adam Peters decides to do there, but a roster move needs to be made to make room for Marshon Lattimore over here. So yeah, I think that's the only other transaction that's going to occur today. If anything else occurs, may release a short or something like that just to keep you guys updated. But this was our immediate reaction to the Marshon Lattimore trade, and this was District Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. I am Amit. That is K. I'm reading.
I was refreshing Twitter just to make sure nothing else happened.
Okay, got it. Well, yeah, and if you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K.
If the polls ain't closed, you ain't vote. You got something to fucking do. And then outside of that, share that shit.
Yeah, and then share this shit, please. And while you're in line voting, you could just keep refreshing your Twitter feed. Just read more about Marshon Lattimore. Boom, vote. You're out. Keep reading about Marshon Lattimore. You're gonna have a great day. So we will see you guys Friday, 2 p.m.
Speaker. Play this pod in line. Let everybody else hear the argument.
Yeah, share this shit, please. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you Friday, 2 p.m. So until then, take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.